Hi, my name's Zane Huggins. I'm the owner and creative director of Full Circle Design Studio, an agency that specializes in branding and web design and development. Today, I'm going to show you some of the basic tools of Adobe Illustrator. We're going to start with the basic selection tools, which you can find in the left tool panel of your workspace. At the very top, you'll notice that the basic selection tool is automatically selected when you open your document. What this tool is used for is selecting shapes and other objects and moving them around as a singular object. Your direct selection tool, which can be found right next to the regular selection tool in the left tool panel, will allow you to grab just specific anchor points from your shape and move it around. You can also select a singular side. Now you don't necessarily have to move your object around as one singular unit. You can access both of these tools by selecting V for the regular selection tool and A for the direct selection tool. The next tools we're going to take a look at here are the pen tools, which can be found 2 rows down from your selection tools. The first pen tool here on the left is just your basic pen tool that you use to make anchor points that are connected to paths. And you can build out this path. You don't necessarily have to close it, but if you do choose to close it, you are creating a shape. And you will notice that by hovering over the original anchor point, and that little circle will show up next to your cursor. And now we've created a shape. If you go to the pen tool and long press on it, the menu will come down and show you that there are also multiple associated tools: the Add Anchor Point tool, Delete Anchor Point tool, and the Basic Anchor Point tool. The Anchor Point tool does exactly as you would expect, which is adds anchor points along your path. So if you zoom in and click along the path, you can see we're adding a few anchor points in here. And then the Remove Anchor Point tool, when you click over top of an anchor point, will go ahead and remove your unwanted ones. And then lastly, your Anchor Point tool will make handles when you click and drag over top of an anchor point. And what this allows you to do is to make a curvature rather than a sharp angle in your corners. So when you click and then drag, and then you can also select just one arm of the handles. And then this is used to just kind of smooth out your shapes if you don't want those sharp corners. And then alternatively, if you want to make a nice curved path, you can use the curvature tool. And you select, and you notice the anchor points look a little different here. And what they do is automatically add in the handles and modify it as you build your shape so that you don't have to do it manually. And what's really convenient about this is you can see like there's certain areas that feel a little like unnatural and sharp. You can go in and modify it without having to open up those individual arms. But if you do choose to, you can select that, the Anchor Point tool, select your path, and go in and actually edit the handles. And that is the basics of your pen and curvature tools. The next tool we're going to look at is the Shape tool. So when you select the Shape tool, its default shape is a rectangle. You can make your rectangle any dimensions that you want by just dragging, or you can hit the Shift key to make a perfect square. The other shapes, when you hold click, you'll see that there is a rounded rectangle tool, an ellipse tool, a polygon tool, which if you click once in your workspace, you can choose how many sides. So if you want to make an octagon, you can do that, or you could technically go in and make really any shape of any amount of sides you want to add. So this is a good one to make a triangle. And then lastly, there is the star tool. And if you single click with the star tool, you can also pick how many points you want to add. So you can make all kinds of different star shapes. And those are the basics of the shape tool. The last tool we're going to look at in this video is the text tool. And we're going to go over just the basics today because there could be multiple videos on this. This is a very complex tool. But I'm going to start with showing how you make text boxes, which is either by clicking and dragging to make a text box of a determined size so that your text is bound into that block, or you can simply just take your text tool and click and just start typing. I find that it's typically most helpful to determine the size of your text block before you start typing, as this one will just go on in an endless line, meaning that you have to manually hit enter every time you want to make a new line, which is not going to be helpful if you need to resize this in the future. Also, if you scale the edges of the bounding box, it will warp the size of your text, which is very bad. Where in this one, it will just push the text into new lines automatically. And once you get this little red square here with the plus, it's showing that text has been cut off. So that means it extends beyond the boundaries of the text box. So you can click right here on this blue square, double tap, and then it'll reveal the remaining text and automatically resize your box accordingly. When you select your text, you'll notice that your tool panel on the right side of your workspace changes, and this is where you can change fonts, the weight of your font size, your leading, so that is the space between lines. This is your kerning, so that would be the space between individual letters. And lastly, your tracking, which is the space of all characters in a single line. Hi, thank you for watching this introductory tutorial to Adobe Illustrator. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have requests for future tutorials, please let us know in the comments below.